All right, Flyers lose last night, and they look bad. Real bad. Like, terrible.
Like Pete Thompson could have done a better job out there.
Maybe.
On the blue line?
Remember like that? You're probably too young. There was a game on Nintendo called Ice Hockey. That was all it was called, Ice Hockey.
That is real nice name.
It was just ice hockey.
Very creative.
And it had 3 guys. Real, like, skinny guy, medium-sized guy, and big fat guy. They had 3 guys. And then, you could pick which ones you want where. And you would have, like, the little skinny guy skating around real fast. You had the mediocre guy. He was, like, mediocre, and he could do everything. Then you had the big fat guy. When the skinny guy ran into the big fat guy, he blasted him off the blue line.
So what's the comparison here?
I think PT might be the mediocre guy.
Oh, the mediocre guy.
He's dropped a few, right there,
okay.
PT?
Yeah, definitely. I'm shaved down. There's less and less of me each day that goes by. I'll take mediocre. Sure, from you, that's a compliment, Gil.
Did you do you remember the ice hockey game I referred to?
No. I didn't play that game. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I played arcade games where you pump the quarters in. I played that like a mofo. And then I had like the original Nintendo, but I didn't have it. Like I played Atari and ColecoVision way back in the day. But like by the time I went to college, I was chasing girls, not video games. So I wasn't.
Wow, this was like I might have been in like 5th grade.
Well, you
when
could do
NES came out,
You could do
right?
a good mix of both video games and women. I mean,
yeah. Well, PT's not very good at multitasking.
That's true. That is very true.
That's right. I'm a one-directional fella.
That's right. All right. So, so give me the lowdown on what concerns you after watching that last night.
Well, the slow start again bothers me. I don't understand how they were surprised that this is the way the Islanders were going to come out. I mean, that entire first period, it was 4-0 final. It could have been 4-0 after 1 if Carter Hart didn't stand on his head to keep him in it. That concerns me. The stars are not showing up. Claude Giroux either looks like he's lost a step or just isn't contributing in the way that you want him to contribute. Konechny and Couturier. That's got to be, in my mind, that's got to be one of Couturier's worst games as a Philadelphia Flyer. I mean, he was so bad in so many cases that you just found yourself scratching your head and thinking, Coots, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I thought that was such a sloppy game by him, and you just don't normally see it. That's why it's almost head-scratching, because he's been so phenomenal, especially in the D zone, to allow Pajot to be wide open. But that play told me something. It showed me what works. Not that it's breaking news, but the way that the Islanders put the puck behind the goal line, they went in on the forecheck, they got in on Sanheim in the D pairing, and that allowed that goal to even generate. And I think the Flyers need to, instead of coming in trying to be cute, like they're not peppering the goalie with any shots. They finished the first period with, 5 shots? Like, let's establish a forecheck, get in on them, and then from there, throw pucks on net. I just don't think that their philosophy offensively is working right now.
Yeah, I mean, 11 goals in 7 total playoff games, 1.6 a game. You're not going to win a lot of hockey like that. And it's funny that you bring up that play, too, because that, to me, initially, I when I tweeted out about it, I kind of ripped on Sanheim for not taking a more aggressive stance on the puck. He sort of passed or laissez-faired it, and didn't go get the puck. But the reality of it is, and you know this because you played the game, Hunter, that when you're behind the net, if both your D-men are behind the net, you as the center, that's your job. You're essentially the third D guy to come back. And they just let Pajot do whatever he wanted. Bang, bang. You can't put that goal on Carter Hart. Pajot was wide open, point-blank range, and buried it. He did what he was supposed to do. So it bugs me that, Andy Green's a journeyman. He's got gray in his beard. He looks like he's 45 years old.
Yeah, how about that game by him? What the?
Right. I mean, that was the game of his life. I couldn't believe that I was tweeting out this guy's name. First of all, I couldn't believe he's still in the league. And secondly, he's making a difference.
Right.
So,
I felt like every time I looked up, I was always on the grill. I had the TV on out in the porch. I was on the grill. I felt like every time I looked up, I saw Green on the television.
He had the huge block shot with Travis Konechny on the 2-on-1. I thought that was an automatic goal, and here he is just putting his foot out when he was already beat.
It was unbelievable with the back of his skate, the back edge of his skate blade and getting that deflection. He was everywhere, and it's Andy freaking Green, when are you going to get, you'd like some Flyers names out there that maybe the rest of the country don't know, and you're seeing those names come up, and not a single one of them did. I mean, the only good news, if there's any good news about Game 1, it's that the Flyers haven't lost back-to-back games since like January 7th. I mean, if you add in the calendar and the pandemic and all that, they've responded well usually when they lose. So let's see if that act continues tomorrow.
Do you think that Alain Vigneault, I mean, the way I look at this with JVR, this team isn't scoring goals. And I'm not here to tell you that JVR has been the most fantastic player in the world, but he's also been playing on the fourth line. I just feel like if there's one criticism that I have for him, for Alain Vigneault, that is, I just don't think you're utilizing a goal scorer the right way. He can't be playing with Nate Thompson and Tyler Pitlick. He's a goal scorer, but he's not one of those goal scorers that, comes down the wall like Ovechkin and snipes everyone, but he has the scoring touch, and this team can't score. So Aubé-Kubel comes in the lineup, and I like what he brings to the table, but I just feel you can get more out of JVR than what this team's getting.
Yeah, that's a real curious thing for me, Hunter, is why JVR has been in AV's doghouse. And I mean, I guess the other thing then you have to ask yourself is, what versatility does JVR actually bring to the lineup? When you have a guy like a Raffle that can kill penalties, or like JVR is not going to be out there to kill penalties.
No, but
right?
maybe he can go on the power play that's been struggling, if you wanted to look at that part.
Right. You could make that move. I mean, I don't know why he's in Vigneault's doghouse, but he definitely has been. I mean, the one thing I thought for sure, and of course we'll find this out tomorrow, but I think for sure that based off of some of the physicality that the Islanders had and the jam or the jump, I'd be shocked if Robert Haig isn't back in the lineup. I mean, now will he play well? Who knows? But I just think, that they stuck with Ghost because they thought of his offensive prowess and what he could do to push the play up, but Ghost is small. He gets pushed around. And the Islanders came out with an attitude of, you guys think you're going to push us around. We're going to punch you first. And they did.
All right, Pete. What about, all right, so you mentioned, it'd be nice to have some names that you hadn't heard of from the Flyers, referencing that the Islanders had some guys make plays. How about the names of the guys we have heard of doing nothing for one series and now a game?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Hayes has one goal. Giroux, Couturier, and Travis Konechny and Scott Lawton. Remember, Scott Lawton in the round-robin portion broke out and was like this unbelievable, holy cow. You remember the full-length pass, I think it was Konechny to Lawton, that they made to end a hockey game in the round-robin. And maybe it was the first game they played up inside the bubble up there. And these guys have all disappeared. I mean, Lawton was turning over the puck left and right the other night. Konechny, he's the yapper. He gets up on his skates, but when he's looking up at the sky, that he's gripping his stick tighter. I mean, these guys have to contribute. You can't count. That to me is so I said the positive thing is they haven't lost back-to-back games. The negative thing to me is they had Carter Hart hold them in at the first period. They played their asses off to start the second period and had nothing to show for it. And then the scoreboard ends up 4-0. I mean, that almost scares you to think, holy cow, the Islanders might just be the better team. But, we shall find out.
Yeah, I think they are because of the way Barry Trotz has this team playing. And that's not a knock on the Flyers. I think the expectations jumped really big this year. We need to remember where they actually are. I mean, you don't go from where you were to where the Boston Bruins or the Tampa Bay Lightning are. So I do think that this Islanders team is very, very underrated, and they are a very solid, structured squad. But going back to Travis Konechny, Hayes, Lawton, while I am disappointed that TK hasn't scored and Hayes hasn't really produced as much as we wanted to, the difference between them two and Lawton is almost unplayable. That goal by Green to score, that was his point man, and here he is making lazy turns instead of stopping and starting. And you mentioned turning the puck over. I can't even see him out there anymore because he's hurting you so much. At least TK and Hayes are generating some sort of offense, just not burying.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Lawton has been really bad for a couple games, and do they sit him? And if they sit him, then who do they bring in? I mean, look, we don't bring up Farabee's name, and he was on the ice the other night, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have been MIA or missing in action. Like, they're out there, you see their jersey out there, but they never show up on the stat sheet. I don't have a problem. Hayes, to me, I don't have a problem with his effort. I think Hayes' effort and attitude.
He was the one guy who seemed like he came to play last night.
Definitely. He had a little jump in there.
Right. I've got no problem with him. And and you sit there and you rip on Couturier, and if Couturier redirects that goal home and scores the goal at that point when it was still, a 2-0 hockey game, I believe, and cuts it to 2-1, then you're not having the same conversation about Couturier that we are today. But, hopefully they get a little puck luck and they get some bounces and they come out with the right attitude because they fall behind 0-2. They're going to be in a big, big hole.
All right, PT, the goaltending, obviously you feel like you have the advantage there. But what if you can't get to theirs?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I thought I think Varlamov can be beat, and I think that they have a system to do it. I just don't think that they executed any of that the other night. And I also think that, the Flyers can play down to a guy's level and make him look better when they're not doing their system, I mean, look, Giroux had a rebound chance. He turned aside Hayes from close range, but that second period, and that's the thing that scares me, is they threw a lot of rubber at Varlamov in the second period, and they couldn't get one. And that combination with the fact that they were making their own mistakes, that's a recipe for disaster.
Here's a dilemma. Game 2 and Game 3 back-to-backs. Game 6, Game 7 back-to-back nights. And
What is that?
I don't know. But I would assume that Carter Hart, you want him to play 6 and 7 if it goes that length. So we would guess that maybe Brian Elliott plays one of the next 2 games. Which one would you put him in net for?
I would put him in 3, I would assume.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because, you put now that you've lost the first game, you have to go with your stud, which is Carter Hart for game 2, and go out and deliver your effort. And then, of course, you have 2 reasons that you would go Elliott in game 3. If they win the game, you say, well, it's a back-to-back, and we're going to give Elliott a chance to step in there and try to maybe change the dynamic. And if you lose the game, then you say, well, we've done everything we can in 2 games, and that hasn't worked, so we're going to try to go with Elliott and see if that, so either way, you could justify starting Elliott in game 3. You absolutely want your franchise goalie to be available for 6 and or 7 if it goes that long.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they have a double back-to-back in a playoff series, I don't understand how they could say game 6 and 7 you're going to play on back-to-back days. It seems ridiculous.
It's TV in the league host, basically. I mean, and the 3 o'clock start, there's a lot of people that are upset about the 3 o'clock start tomorrow. I mean, but there's 3 games tomorrow, and they're all on. You got to squeeze them in. I mean, how do you get all 3 games in a certain broadcast window?
I don't love the 3 o'clock time. I get that. I can jive with the 3 o'clock time. How did they come up with the decision to play a back-to-back twice in the series, including making Game 7 potentially, if you get that far, have to be a back-to-back? I mean, now you're asking you're potentially asking teams, hey, you got to play your goalie back-to-back twice in the series is ridiculous.
Yeah, it definitely is questionable. I mean, the only thing I can lend some logic to is what I heard Kevin Durso say, which is that since this whole operation, the whole traveling circus has to pick up and move to Edmonton, whoever's moving on, that they tried to schedule it in a way that the series would wrap up by this date and they could all have time to get out to Edmonton, quarantine a little bit, and get the next set of dates going when they get to the next round.
Yeah, why are they playing the Eastern Conference games? Why do they even have to go out to Edmonton? Why not just keep them in Toronto until the Stanley Cup Finals? I don't get that either.
Now you're asking the million-dollar questions. Why did Edmonton win out over Toronto when you get to conference finals? Like, why didn't they just keep it all the way till you get to the Stanley Cup? But, there's flights involved. There's travel involved. I don't know why Edmonton won out between Toronto, but I see your point. Like, why couldn't you have the Western Conference Finals in Edmonton, the Eastern Conference Finals? You're in the bubble. Stay in that bubble all the way through until you are the Eastern Conference champion or you are the Western Conference champion. And then, if you were pre-COVID, you'd say, all right, Western team, you play here, Eastern team, you play here. But no, they're not even going to do that. They're just making them move the whole circus out to Edmonton. I have no idea why.
Yeah, it's very odd. I give Gary Bettman a lot of credit for what he did and what he built to get this product out there, but there are still a couple question marks that make me scratch my head. I want to get your thoughts heading into Game 2, though. Are you really concerned, or do you need to see how this game plays out? Right now, I don't really have a read on this series. I need to see the adjustments by Alain Vigneault and see how they react in Game 2. If they bring their game and they find a way to tie the series 1-1, I'm on board again because I know that they can work against this system, which is very defensive. But if it looks very similar once again, I think I am really doubting this squad.
Oh, I mean, and that goes right back to look, am I concerned? Yes. Am I very concerned? No. It's one hockey game. Do you forget that they lost 5-0 to Montreal and looked like dog do in the loss that they had to Montreal in that series? I mean, they the back-to-backs, they lost to Carolina on January 7th. They beat Washington on the 8th. They lost to Tampa on the 11th, then went and beat Boston on the 13th. Lost to Montreal on my birthday on the 16th. Then went and beat the Kings. They had no business losing to Montreal, but then they fixed it against L.A. They lost to Pittsburgh, and then had a back-to-back against Colorado on February 1st. Each time, there's 7, 8, 9, 10 responses of where they've lost a game and then won the second game. And so, to me, that's what's keeping me from being overly concerned, Hunter, is that their record now they go out and they lay another stinkeroo tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I'm going to go from like DEFCON 1 to DEFCON. Holy crap! Yes.
All right. It was ugly last night, and we'll have Game 2 tomorrow at 3:00 on 97.3 ESPN. Game 3 will be on Thursday at 7. And we'll have that right here. And don't forget, you can listen to Flyers Hockey on your free mobile app. Download the app on your phone wherever you get your apps in your app store. Now, Brett Brown fired yesterday Pete Thompson. Obviously, look, I was not a Brett Brown hater by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't think he was a great coach. I think people put too much stock in the coach. I understand it was time to move on from the coach. I don't have a problem with them firing him. However, do you think that he and the coach was this team's biggest problem?
No, their biggest problem is their front office. I mean, the chaos that's running through their front office. In 7 years, Brett Brown worked for 3 different GMs, 4 if you include himself. Because remember, he was the interim GM when Brian Colangelo and the whole Burnergate stuff happened with the phone. So, I mean, to me, and I wrote this on Twitter, I liked him as a person. I thought he was a great teacher of the game. But he had awful teams in the beginning, and I understood what Hinkie was trying to do. And then revolving GMs and revolving philosophies, it's no secret that Tobias Harris underperformed in the playoffs, that Al Horford underperformed in the playoffs, and that they missed Ben Simmons. I'm sorry, there's 5 starting positions on a basketball team, and if 3 big names, 1 guy's not there, and 2 people aren't performing to the level you need them to, you're going to have problems winning any games. I after the first game against Boston, I said, I think they might get swept, and they did. And I wasn't surprised by that. I wasn't surprised that he got fired. I'm a little jealous of Brett Brown. Just once in my life, MG, I say it all the time, I want to be fired with years left on my contract so I can get paid just to go be the PT and sit on a beach somewhere. But he'll get another job. Will he get another head coaching job? I don't know about that right away, but he's well respected in the league. He's a super nice guy. And hello, Ty Lue, or whoever the heck they
Well, you led me right down the path I wanted to go. Is there somebody that sticks out to you, or do you just want to see who they go with and then feel optimistic about it?
Well, here's the funny. So I've said Tyronn Lue. Okay, it's Tyronn Lue, by the way, not Tyrone. I covered that guy. I'm so old. I covered that guy when he played in college. Sixers fans know him from the AI step over in 2000. They won the championship with Cleveland. He could handle personalities with LeBron. That's the name that jumped out yesterday. Everybody, Ty Lue, Ty Lue. Guess what? Brooklyn would like Ty Lue as well. There are other teams out there that are going to go after Ty Lue, and Ty Lue may not want the Sixers' dysfunctionality. As you sit there and say that name over and over again, he turned down the Lakers last year. Frank Vogel got the job, but does Ty Lue want to come to the bleep show that is currently the Sixers front office?
Well, do you think
I don't know.
Do you think there's a chance that he walks out the tunnel, and while he's walking out the tunnel, he needs to walk by Allen Iverson stepping on him?
It would make for great optics, wouldn't it? I mean, I'd love to see it. tie in his suit, lays down, and AI comes out and steps over him and rings the bell, the place would go nuts.
Yeah, I could see that just being a complete disaster all the time that the team's losing. You got Allen running up and down the sideline, Tyler. I mean, I don't know. To me, Lou is the whole theory of, hey, he won the championship. But at that time, nobody gave him credit for being the reason they won that championship. You know what I mean?
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, the line is that, oh, yeah, the head coach, his last name was James, right? Yeah, that was the head coach.
Here's one thing
team,
I'll say that
100%.
intrigues me a little bit more than, say, anyone else. He was an assistant coach for a couple years. Like, he wasn't just handed a random job and went for it. At least I think it's important to value.
What did he leave for? Did he have like a breakdown or something?
What do you mean? When he left where?
Cleveland.
No, they fired him after they started out 0-6 the year after,
Yeah, but
right?
didn't he have like some sort of like breakdown or something? He had like he took some time off because it was weird.
Oh, okay. That one doesn't come to the top of my head.
There was something with an illness, that's right. But, yes, he also did get fired as well, and he's been the Clippers assistant ever since. But, again, I go back to the fact that, he had according to Yahoo, he had an offer to be the Lakers head coach, and he turned that down, So that to me says just because you want him doesn't mean that he wants you.
Yeah, and apparently he's going to be a hot name, and we'll keep our eye on all that because, we have the list of names who have been reported and the odds at 973ESPN.com. And earlier this morning, Jay Williams talked about Jay Wright. He said, that's the guy. Make it happen, Philly. He thinks that's the right guy because he's looking for accountability.
Oh, Jay Williams. I love the new morning show. I heard you had Zubin on the other day. That was nice of you to tell my haircut story again. I was laughing hilariously. It is a good story. But Jay Williams doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. There's no way. I'll bet my car that Jay Wright is leaving Villanova. If he leaves, I will give you my car, okay? That's not effing happening. Jay Wright has the best job of his life at Villanova. He's got security. He's got stability. He's got, Jay Wright himself says, I'm lucky enough to work in an area where nobody pays attention to us until the Eagle season is over. What other coach has that freedom and flexibility of being able to mold the team into the way he wants to? Plus, Jay Wright could be, I have no idea how he'd do at the pro level, but boy, when he gets there and he quickly realizes, I can't teach, I can't coach, I can't mold these guys. They're a bunch of ego bleep bleep. I don't see Jay Wright ever being the Sixers head coach. Now, a temple of money might change that, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, one of the reasons Jay Will said, because he coached on Team USA, he played for him, and he said he's learned from guys like Popovich and some others on how to handle the NBA players. So, I don't know, something to think about.
And by the way, as you know, Mike Gill, I have a new phone, so I'm proud to say that I listen to the show on my phone, on the free mobile app. I'm trying to remind people about that. I said nice things about you on National Radio Day, and you didn't even say thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I wrote it in a glowing Facebook post and a glowing Twitter post.
I'm not a big Facebooker. You know that, PT. Sorry.
And Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Well, I might have missed it. I must have had people, I must have had trolls after me that day. But that's very nice of you to say. You're a very nice man, PT. Hey, by the way, did you play golf with Joe Mitchell the other day?
I was not able to play golf, but we are efforting as we put it.
Well, he called me first, and I declined. And I said, "Why don't you try Pete Thompson?"
Oh, I was the backup guy.
Yeah,
I see how it is.
You were the backup guy.
Yeah. Always number 2.
All right, bud. See ya.
All right, pal. Good to talk to you, Hunter. Take care.
All right, Pete Thompson, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Our Tuesday with Thompson today, brought to you by PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets. Check them out at PropSwap.com. I've been telling you, it's like the eBay for sports bets. You can buy and sell tickets right there on their website. If you go to PropSwap.com right now, you will see tremendous odds for bets all over the league, NBA, NHL. Right now, you can get a Vegas Golden Knights ticket 2-1. Buy it for $1,250, collect $4,000. It's some great odds there. They got other futures. How about this? Flyers to win the Stanley Cup, 6-1 odds on that one, which is pretty good right now. You can buy that It actually just sold for $1,200. The winner collects $9,000. You can bid what you want to pay at PropSwap.com.